Hi guys, and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's price action analysis video. I'm sorry I haven't been able to post any video since a long time now. It's because I haven't been in very good health. You might be able to make out from my voice that I'm not yet completely recovered, but it was difficult for me to stay away from making these educational videos. First of all, I would really like to thank all of you for all your prayers and your good wishes. Secondly, a lot of you asked me yesterday that they would like to have my opinion and my view on yesterday's fall. So let me just start by talking about yesterday's price action first. Okay, so before I begin, I would just like to tell you that you might have to put up with my bad voice. My throat is not yet very good, so please excuse my voice in today's video. Okay, now let's see what happened yesterday. See, yesterday this was the day's high right here. It was around the R1 pivot. You could see that the CPR was narrow. So when the price opens in such circumstances, usually taking a resistance at the R1 and the PDH, it is usually seen that the price will go and touch the CPR. So if there is any opportunity to be sought for during such market days, it is usually in the very first candle itself. So what you can do is you can actually go short in this particular candle here. But then you could see that there was no follow-up or rather a pullback to this candle. The follow-up was immediate, isn't it? So the price just kept falling from there and it went and reached the CPR. So one of the very good patterns to trade on, which is one of the bread and butter patterns for me, is the magnet trade, which I've already made the video on, wherein I've also said that whenever the price takes resistance at the R1 or the PDH, then it is important to know that the price will reverse to the CPR. So like yesterday, that was the reversal at the R1 pivot. You could also see that there was a weekly pivot at the same place. You can see the yellow line there. That particular line is the weekly pivot, and then the R1 and the PDH. So a conglomeration of or a group of three resistances at that same position yesterday. And then here you can see that the price went and hit the CPR. But then when would it have been a good trade? When you would have seen that the entry was not here, the entry should have been somewhere here. So had price given a pullback, taken resistance right at the either the previous day high or the R1, then you could have taken a short trade there. You can see here that price did show a reversal sign at this particular point here. What was that time? That was at around 2:10 p.m. But see, you can see here that there is a group of these three resistances, and then you can see this is a reversal pattern, this one here. Okay, so why does this signal a reversal? This signals a reversal because there is an uptrend that started from the CPR, then it made this particular large green candle, then it made this particular doji, which suggested that the buyers and sellers were equal in strength there, and then it was followed up by this particular candle which took out the low of this doji. Then that candle was the third candle, was the red candle. So what did the red candle do? It took out the low of the doji, which meant that the sellers had taken over in that particular 15-minute session. Which was the 15-minute session? This here, the group of these three candles is a 15-minute session, isn't it? So the buyers were pushing the price up in this in the first 5 minutes, then it was a flat thing for the next 5 minutes, and then the sellers overcame the buyers and they pushed the price down. But again, usually I tend to take such trades whenever there is a CPR on top of this particular red candle. So then it gives me confidence that it would definitely be a reversal. After that, it was a scary fall that happened in after 2:10 p.m. Usually you should not look to participate in such rallies. These falls are obviously unknown to all the retail traders, and so catching these falls is always difficult. This was the range in which price was trading yesterday here. After that, this particular candle out here, it was the one that broke out of that range. So that range was broken yesterday, yes, but there is no real sign there, and also it broke out of the CPR after back-to-back candles here. And I also say that the CPR being narrow, the breakout from CPR really does not matter in such circumstances, because the breakout really doesn't mean much when the CPR is very narrow. Now if you can see in Bank Nifty down here in the split screen here, you can see that the CPR was even narrower in Bank Nifty than it was in Nifty. And even in Bank Nifty you could see that the open was somewhere around the PDH and the R1, and you could see the fall from there. It also came right up to the CPR, but then the CPR did not really mean anything because it was very narrow. And then similarly, as Nifty took support here at the CPR, Bank Nifty also took support and it also bounced. It made a base here and it bounced because Nifty had bounced from there. So yes, one definite trading opportunity in Nifty yesterday was going short in this first candle itself because of the strong resistances, but it was still not a good idea to take a short position right here because your profit booking would be at this level. And where would you keep your SL? Your SL would be higher, right? It would be here. So it wasn't a good idea. So let's just calculate this. If you were to put this short tool here, then where would you put your SL? This would be at least a few points above the high of that candle, and this would be your profit booking, right? So I have placed the target below the CPR actually, the CPR being very narrow, so I've placed it around the bottom CPR. But still you can see that the ratio here is not even 1:1. So it was not a good risk to reward ratio to take, and that is why it was not a good trade to take. Again here it was definitely a good trade to short when price reversed back to the high of the day, in spite of there not being a CPR on top, but it was a group of three resistances as we said, and PDH and R1 being together as well as a weekly pivot, then it becomes a strong resistance zone there. Okay, so that was the price action analysis of Nifty. It was a quick analysis of Nifty. Since I missed making that video yesterday, I thought I'd make that video today. Okay, now let's go ahead and watch what Nifty and Bank Nifty did today. Okay, Nifty opened today with this very strong bullish candle. Why am I saying it is strong? You might ask me that it doesn't have a very strong body, right? It's a very small body, but still, why is it strong? This is one of the strongest signs of bullishness because you can see that the price had opened at this particular area, then it was pushed all the way down here by the sellers, and within those 5 minutes itself the buyers came in again, stepped in and closed the price at this level. So they completely removed the sellers from that level. So what do you know now here? You know that it is a combination of a wide CPR as well as a strong bullish candle, opening 5-minute candle, and that shows us that there is a lot of buying strength here. So now this area will proceed to be a very strong buyer zone from here. Okay, and yes, this will also be a virgin CPR for tomorrow, so it will be an important area for tomorrow's trading session. And you can see how price reacted after that. It went up to here, then at around this area it basically formed a zone here, then it was pushed back in this zone, then it again formed a sideways zone here, it formed a sideways zone again here, then it was pushed down, then it again went into a sideways zone here, and then buyers pushed the price all the way up here, then the sellers came in and pushed the price all the way down here, then there was another zone here, and then after that it just kept going mostly sideways from after that time. You can see here that there was no real trading opportunity per se. Yes, whenever a price opens with a very strong green candle right at the CPR, it means that it is a very strong base, and then you can expect the price to go right up to the previous day high up here, which also happens to be a strong supply zone. And here it did not happen for the simple reason that Bank Nifty was trading for the most part below the CPR. You can see that Bank Nifty has for the entire day and for the most part traded below the CPR. In fact, for the entire day it has stayed below the CPR, but only in the first opening candle itself it opened above the central pivot, and then you can see that in this particular zone it went above the central pivot, but it could not break the top central pivot, and that being the reason why Nifty also could not sustain that huge buying from the first candle's base, and that was the reason why Nifty kept trading above the CPR And as you can see here, since Bank Nifty opened outside the CPR in the very first candle here and it traded below the CPR, it kept trading under the CPR for the entire time. In such days it is best to stay out of the market because you don't know which one will pull the other. Okay, so you don't know if Nifty will pull Bank Nifty or it will be Bank Nifty that will pull Nifty. So you're not sure which direction to take. So do you take a short position in Bank Nifty here just because Nifty is going to be pulled down by Bank Nifty, just because Bank Nifty has this long bodied red candle in the first candle itself? Yes, it has this particular wick here, but it is nonetheless a red body, right? It's a strong red body at the CPR exactly. So what exactly do you do here? Do you take a short entry or a long entry? On such days it is very difficult to say. Now here in Bank Nifty you can see that this was the day high, and exactly at the day high you can see that it has, when the price returned here, it has made these bearish signs here. It has given these bearish signs, right? So it was definite that the price would reverse from there after it had shown such bearishness plus the CPR at the same level. And if you had gone short in that particular zone, where would you keep your target booking or profit booking target? It would be right at here, this point. Why? Because price had strongly swung back into going upwards towards the CPR at that point. So somewhere around this zone you would have been good to take your profits, and it would have been a good trade, right? Had you taken this trade. Let's see how the tool shows us. So if you take your trade somewhere in this area here, you can, this is your top central, right? So you can keep your SL a little bit above the top central, and then you can take your profit back at somewhere around the, so if you around the previous swing low. So even if you take that kind of a trade, you can see that you get a 1:2 risk reward. So this was a good trade to take today, but for the fact that Nifty was trading the entire time above the CPR. So here the only reason why there was no confidence today for me to go short in Bank Nifty was because of this particular candle in Nifty, and this is a very bullish sign. And although I knew that it was Bank Nifty that was giving pressure to Nifty to go up, and although majority of the sectors, especially auto sector, was pulling Nifty up, but still you could see that Nifty was not being able to go up because of Bank Nifty. And you can see at 1:05 p.m. how Nifty was right above the CPR. There was space towards the CPR, so going short in Bank Nifty would not have been much of a problem there. But you know what, you cannot really be too sure. It could also happen that Bank Nifty is actually pulled up from here and by Nifty, and both of them start rallying towards the upside. So whenever you see one trading under the CPR and the other trading below it, it's best not to take trades on such days. Whenever you see a big movement or an explosion or a trending movement on one day, then the next session in indices usually goes flat or sideways. So you should always have your bias towards the reversal kind of trades instead of the breakout kind of trades. And that is the reason why I was pretty much sure about this particular reversal trade from CPR today, simply given the fact that I knew that there were sellers at this level because of the strong red candle, the strong first red candle. And it doesn't matter if there are buyers down here. Okay, it doesn't matter because buyers are providing support to price from here, right? So it doesn't matter if there are buyers here. At least we know that there are sellers in this area, so at least we can go back and take our profit where the buyers are coming into action again. So it is a very relative thing whether you want to take a position in such kind of a day. A safe trader would normally not jump into trades whenever both of them are showing opposing views, and today the entire day both of them were showing opposing views. We'll quickly go back to Nifty now, and we will start analyzing for levels as the price action unfolded today. You could see here that price has taken a bounce from this particular level. Now let's see what that level is. That level is around 17,000. So 17,000 is going to prove to be a very strong base for price. Now it's going to form a very strong support. It's a good sign today. Price was pushed up from here, then it took resistance around this area, okay, and then the final resistance was this area from where price did not return, but it had fallen from there sharply, and then the buyers started coming in at around this area. They kept coming in at this area and kept pushing the price up from there. And so what happens here was the most important thing that you realize that the sellers are around this area. What is that area? That's around 17,180. So that is an area of sellers. So today's day high, which is around 17,187, is going to be an important area for the upcoming session. Let us mark important areas for tomorrow. Obviously we know that the PDL, that is here, is going to be an important demand zone. We also have the virgin CPR at this area. So you might if you see price coming towards the virgin CPR from the top tomorrow, then you know that you don't want to take a short position there for sure. And you have a CPR right on top of the virgin CPR. So usually it is seen that whenever that happens, and if price breaks out of the CPR here at this level, then price will take support and it will start bouncing back to the current day's CPR. So if that happens, then this here with the S1 pivot also at the same position with the demand zone right at the same position might be a good trade to take tomorrow to the long upside. So you could take a long entry once you know see some reversal sign at that area. So if you were to see some good quality green candle there, so if you were to see a green candle like this here, let's say with a tall wick on the bottom or something like that, then it's a good sign to go long on that candle and then collect your profit right at the central pivot tomorrow. So please keep an eye on that level, out on that level tomorrow, and we will also see mark this area as an important supply zone. It will be a supply zone. Why? Because you can see how price has reacted from this level right up to that level here, and then price has been pushed back down to this area. That price gain was stopped right at this particular level here, and after that gain was stopped, it was pushed back. So the value area that you see is right around this point here. Okay, this is the 15-minute time frame for you. Price has actually made a nice base here and it has been provided support in that area. You really don't want to be present in a short position anywhere in this area here. Okay, so definitely make it a point not to take short entries around this area even if the CPR is broken tomorrow. Please keep that in mind. You can see how price has been provided nice support in this entire zone here. And let's just once go to the daily time frame and check. Okay, you can see that it is an inside bar that has formed in the daily time frame. You can see this. Yes, it's called an inside bar, or it's a harami pattern, which is a child pattern. So if you have studied price action, you will know that this is the mother candle and this is the child candle. So a lot of names to that, but basically it's an inside bar. So it's now going to be important to see which of these levels, whether the high of the mother candle or the low of the mother candle is broken, and depending on that, then price will decide its particular direction after that. Okay, so I think that should be all for Nifty. Let's head over to Bank Nifty now. Let's see how Bank Nifty has given us levels for tomorrow. Okay, this is Bank Nifty. You can see how tight a CPR it is for tomorrow. Although I'm not sure this is the right CPR or not. Sometimes the CPR value changes later. So I will post these levels on Twitter later in the evening when the values settle down after 4 p.m. But it is a very narrow CPR in Bank Nifty. Usually when you have a very sideways day like this, a very choppy day like today's day, then you get a very tight CPR the next day. But still, let me just check it out after 4 p.m. Then I will update it on the Twitter. So please take down those levels from Twitter once I update them. Okay, now this entire area is a very strong supply zone, alright? So we will mark this area here, the PDH from this point, and we can make a zone out of it also. So you can mark a zone like this. So this is an important supply zone, and you can see how this candle out here, the 2:50 p.m. candle, has also taken resistance at the central pivot. So this entire area actually could be an important supply zone, but we'll not mark a very big zone there. The one that we have marked is fine. And we can see how buyers have provided support here. So it is this day here, this being a completely sideways day, you can see that the buyers and the sellers keep pushing price from one to the other on such days, almost like a tennis match is going on. So it's a very narrow range for tomorrow between the PDH and PDL, simply because it was a very narrow range day today. Right, and all other levels I will update on Twitter. Not many levels to be changed as far as today's price action goes. Every other level has already been marked on the charts. Alright guys, so I think this should be all for the price action analysis of today. I will wrap up this video here. I hope that you're finding these videos useful. If you are, please hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified each time I post a new video. Thank you for all your support guys, and thank you for your prayers and good wishes. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.